Hi, I'm Jim Raffle. Welcome to the Jim and Shelby Show, all things print podcast. I am joined, as always, by
Shelby Sapusik. How are you today, Jim?
I'm good. And you guys may have noticed there's a third person here today. That's Marshall.
It's me.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, Marshall.
Yeah, I'm Marshall Atkinson, and I'm a fellow Academy member with Jim. And I don't know if you ever talk about that, but we're kind of brothers in the industry, I guess. And so I'm in the decorated apparel space, which is all things t-shirt, screen printing, digitally printing, embroidery, that type of stuff. I'm a consultant, and I help people clarify effective change. That's kind of my tagline there. And but my latest passion, I'm sure this is going to be the main topic today, is MidJourney. And I have started a MidJourney newsletter for creative professionals about how to learn to use the tool. And you can find that at midjourneyexperience.com. It's a weekly newsletter, and it's only $12 a month. So, you're probably spending more money at Starbucks, so it's a good thing, right? And so it's lots of fun. And if you're not using MidJourney, I suggest you start.
Yeah, we ran into Marshall at the Printing United show in Atlanta about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And I had already been exposed to MidJourney and knew what it was. I wasn't using it yet. And the chance meeting with him really got me into it. Anyone who watched the last episode of the podcast, we went into some of where we've gone with MidJourney. We actually shared the website for your newsletter, so hopefully some people signed up. And yeah, I know you've got some ambitious goals, and I hope you achieve them so that the newsletter can continue, because I have finally made time to read the free edition, and that has convinced me that we're going to sign up for at least a year.
Yeah,
Shelby actually read it before me, so Shelby, you know what, you're the newest of the MidJourney people here. What are your first impressions before we ask Marshall some questions?
I honestly haven't played around with it enough to have impressions.
Well, you've actually used an image you created for a social graphic last week, so
that's it. That's all I've done.
So why don't we start with what MidJourney is, in case nobody knows?
Oh, there we go. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, so MidJourney it's artificial intelligence, right? So we're using words to produce an image. Now, what MidJourney is not, it's not Illustrator. So you can't upload a photo and add a cat to it. That's not what it does, right? That's what Photoshop does. So what it can do is it can create an image for you from basic words. And the fun part is to find out what words work the best. So the way that I explain it most often is that MidJourney is an image creation tool that's a genius 4-year-old. It is amazing. It's super frustrating. It'll give you the most amazing image that you've ever seen. But is that what I really want? Because it doesn't really understand anything, right? So how MidJourney works is that it starts off first with just random noise, and then it uses the words that you put in, and it takes those, some sort of math algorithm, and converts your words to a math formula that it takes the noise and assigns the noise, the math formula, to produce a cat in a tree or whatever you're trying to do. And then what's interesting here is that it's not like copying and pasting. And a lot of people get confused about that, where it's not like if you say Picasso in the style of Picasso, it's not copying a Picasso painting, right? It's somehow using that to influence the random noise. And that way it'll generate whatever you want, but it's not copying anything. So it's really hard to say this came from that, because it's inspired by it more than anything. So it's not copying it. And what's really fun here is that even with the same prompts, even with the same words, it never repeats itself ever. So if I give you a prompt sequence that I like, Jim or Shelby, you can't get the same result that I get, because it starts off as random noise. It'll never repeat itself, right? So and it's really fun to play with. And once you start, It's kind you'll start doing some things, and your weird idea that you come up with in whatever, you'll start playing around, you'll get some results, and then it's so much fun, you'll keep playing with it, right? And but what I suggest is that as a image professional, as a designer, you want to use an image for a background for an Instagram post, or you want to create a logo, or you want to do a pattern for fabric, or whatever your assignment is, right? Start playing around with this stuff, because you can do virtually anything. So with an unlimited image palette, you can create anything that you want. It's the words that really dictate what you're doing. And that's the fun and the frustrating part, because it's kind of like a puzzle.
Well,
And
you and I discussed that very briefly before
Yeah.
we started, and it's, you know, I used the term vocabulary, and one of the things I learned about Marshall earlier today is that he has a degree in painting, so fine art. I'm assuming like a fine art bachelor degree,
Yeah.
and Shelby has also has an artistic background and a design background, and so you both have a much larger vocabulary when it comes to art and design than I do. So oftentimes in my head, I know what I want to do, but I don't know the right vocabulary to do it. And so
Right.
it can be frustrating. I understand the technical aspects of AI and MidJourney,
Right.
you know, super great. I totally get the base layer, but then
Yeah.
getting it to do exactly what I want, you know, I'm going to really enjoy reading the newsletter, because I think I'm going to increase my vocabulary, and
Yeah.
that's going to
Right.
increase the usefulness of the tool
Right.
for me. And so, you know, I think maybe what we want to do is let you share your desktop, Marshall, and show
Sure.
people some of what, show them the magic.
Yeah, sure. So we want to show desktop one. I've got several monitors, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
How do I hide this thing? Hide floating meeting. There we go. All right, so you can still see, right?
Yeah, I actually wasn't seeing whatever was floating, so yep, we're good.
Okay, so that was the Zoom controls. Okay.
Okay.
So here's MidJourney, right? If you haven't used it yet, it lives on Discord, which is kind of like a gamer meeting chat thing. They're moving to their own platform. So let me just show you that real quick. So this is main MidJourney, and this will be on a website soon. Okay. And these are, let me just show you, these are my images. So this is what I've been playing around with today. And if you go to Instagram, which is my name, Marshall Atkinson, you can see that I share something every day. I did these snowflakes today. This is what I was playing with. I kind of goof around with stuff all the time. And if you're looking at what I'm doing, here's a tip. Ignore the subject. What I'm playing with are the other words, right? So for example, this Christmas wrapping paper pattern, just ignore that, right? What I'm playing with here is emphasis on negative space. I want a hand-drawn look. I want a loose arrangement, so it's not like organized like a grid, right? I'm trying to get Tiffany blue out of MidJourney. That's what I'm playing with here. The wrapping paper thing is just, it's just something to hang my experiment on, okay? And so if you set up for yourself experiments like this, and usually I just think of something, you know, it's the holiday season, you know, and we're all thinking about gifts. So that may be kind of think about maybe, what if I design my own wrapping paper? That's where this came from, right? It's just what I was playing with today, right? And then what's really cool about MidJourney is that you can do all types of fun things. Here, I'm playing with photography, right? And the word golden hour, if you're a photographer, you know what that means. If you're not, it's like right at sunset for about 10 or 15 minutes when everything turns to gold. They use it in movies and photography all the time. So what I was playing with here is wet things with reflections, also a really low angle, okay? And then I wanted to do that. I was playing with at this time that I did like a gazillion images where I'm playing with extreme close-ups, not images that are like far away, but like in your face. And so if we scroll down, you could see that I'm playing with butterfly wings. These are all extreme close-ups, exaggerated close-ups, embroidery. What are some other ones? Dragon scales, right? This is complete, ignore a dragon scale, okay? I'm doing things that are close up, and I'm also playing with the term opalescent colors, which is kind of that shimmery metallic look. And I wanted something that wasn't like garish metallic, you know, like I was really wanting something that was more gray and brown, but opalescent at the same time. I kind of got it with that one, I guess. Because I'm trying to, like, in my head, realize what I'm doing. And you can see I create a lot of images. This is just me playing around. You know, here's where I started, right? I mean, that's just crazy. Here's where I got the idea, right? Was trying to do shark skin. And I go, oh, it looks kind of like a dragon. So what's, you know, this is just me goofing off. Here's a monochrome, right? So this, ignore that it's a puppy astronaut, right? I'm trying to play with doing something where it's only a one color, right? We use a lot of this in a lot of creative things. So how can you create a really cool looking one color? And so the term I was playing with here, okay, high contrast monochrome toning, okay? Now I found a word, by the way, that you could just add this to your MidJourney vocabulary. Kawaii, Kawaii, means big-eyed and cute. So I don't know where that term actually comes from. I stumbled into it. But if you use the word kawaii, what you're going to get is that what's the designer, Anne Frank, not Anne Frank, but I can't remember her, but it's all these cute looking whatever, right? So here's a whole bunch of cute puppy astronaut dogs, right? With that same kind of thing, right? Here I'm playing with film photography, but guess what I'm doing? I'm doing solarization. I'm also doing an asymmetric pattern. I'm playing around with using actual film. So if I use an actual Kodak Kodachrome film, what happens? Do I get a better image or not? I don't know. Let's try it. So these are just things that I'm bumping into, playing in my head, you know, and here's me, you know, doing interior design on a lunar rover. Right?
I love it.
And you can see that I just, anything that pops into my brain, I'm thinking, and where does this come from? Well, I started off doing cars. Okay, doing car interiors, right? And like, you know, does it get it right? Well, the answer is no. Like this one was Ford Shelby Mustang GT 500. You know what? You don't, you know, maybe this is it, maybe it's not. But I tell you what, it doesn't have the Mustang, doesn't have the, doesn't have a lot of the details. Maybe this is correct. I have no idea. I don't own a Shelby Mustang GT 500, so I don't know. These are just the things I'm playing with. And you can also look, I'm playing with the camera, right? And so this is just what happens. You know, what happens if I do something, right? Also, you can see this is more horizontal. By default, MidJourney is a square, which is a 1-to-1 aspect ratio. But if you want a horizontal or a different shape, you have to give it, that's AR 16:9. That's the one I use the most. You can do a vertical one by AR 9:16 or 2:3, or whatever you want.
I've started doing a lot of 9:16 because they share well on social media.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I like Instagram a lot and everything's square, right? So,
well, so you know, it's funny, Marshall. While you've been doing that, I pulled up my image library, and I've got one in front of me. It's my my prompts were cat reading a book, martini on the table, palm trees in
Right.
the background, and the martini is a glass of wine. So
Right.
it doesn't always get it right, as you
It
said.
doesn't get it right. Remember, it's a genius 4-year-old,
Yeah.
right? So here's something I was playing with. And so you bump into words. Okay. And I'm sure I can't speak French. So the Sabatier filter is probably maybe how you pronounce it. I don't know. That's a photography term. And it's all about how the film is developed. And what it does is it helps increase the chromacity. I can't talk today for some reason. And so this is me playing around with that, just using Grand Canyon, And so what happens, right? So this is a urban street scene. So it's the Grand Canyon, it's city streets. I don't care. That's not what I'm playing with. I'm playing with prompts.
Yep.
What is grotesque beauty? What happens when you do juxtaposed words, right? And so, grotesque beauty, overrun sewer, but it's like it's reflective. It's this old architecture, right? It's this 1-point perspective. You notice that I didn't add any of that in there. I just said grotesque beauty, city street, low angle, because I wanted to be, I wanted the camera, the viewpoint to be kind of low, right?
Yep.
This is just me.
So
This
let's
is
do
how I
something.
learned.
So let's do something fun. I know I saw you have MidJourney actually running. Let's show people how it actually functions here. So
Yeah. So what do you want to create? Give me a topic.
I'm always gonna pick cats.
Cats. Okay. So is it a realistic cat? What type of cat? Like what we want to be specific with our prompts, or you can go the other way and let MidJourney drive the car. Maybe we'll do both. Okay. So let's just say cat, and I don't know, like watercolor. How about that? Right?
Wearing a hat. You're really
hold on. We're already going.
Oh, right? I know what you're gonna do.
Right. And so now we can do another one. Let's be very specific, right? We'll say, what's a specific type of cat?
Siamese
cat. Wearing a hat.
Photograph.
We'll do
photorealistic.
Cinematic. Lighting. We'll do what else? We'll do professional color balancing. And we'll do calendar photography.
Ooh.
Okay, ready? Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Okay.
But it's going to be different than your first one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It'd be way different. All right. So let's look at this one first, and we'll enlarge it so everybody can see, right? These are pretty good, right? I don't know which one of these you like the best.
The black and white one. The lower right. Four.
Okay. So I'll show you some cool stuff, right? So let's bump that one up. So these buttons, U means upscale, means I just want that one. V means variations, and we can roll another grid. I have remix on, which is a way that you can add words to the thing that you're re-rolling. That's a setting that I have. So we can choose to do very subtle, which means give me a grid of 4 cats that look sort of like this that are different. Very strong means use this, but give me 4 that are kind of different, right? And then what I always do is you can hit these. And then I don't know if you know this, but you can hit these multiple times.
And right? The thing is, keep in mind, Marshall has the highest plan available. This is
I've got the go fast mode.
If you have the lower plan like I do, and Shelby does, if you try to do too many of these at one time, it will eventually tell you have to wait till something's done.
Yeah. So I have fast and stealth, right? So, all right. So here's your Siamese cat with the hat.
Wow.
Which one clicks your trigger here?
I don't know, Shelby, are you still on? You can pick one.
I'd go with 2 because I like the little jewel on the hat.
Okay.
Okay.
Here it
Like
is.
little, yeah. Plus it looks kind of like Slash's hat.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll upscale that. Now here's our variation strong from before, right? And you can see you've got, remember, the other one had multiple colors of cats. Now we've got variations of black and white cats. They're all a little different. Okay. I really like this one in the number 1 position here. That's my
Okay.
favorite of the bunch. Right. And then, so why would upscale that? But here are the very subtle. Okay. So let's blow that up so you can see. So these are all kind of the same, but all slightly different.
I think I like 4 the best on that one.
This one down here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Right. Yeah. All right. So let's see how our Siamese cat's doing. Right. So we got the Siamese cat. We can blow this up. I want to enlarge this so you can see. Look at the detail it gets.
It's crazy.
Okay. Now we'll do the same thing. We'll very strong and very subtle. These are just basic moves. I'm not doing anything super elaborate. Okay. But let's also do this. Let's see what's underneath the cat. So we're going to pan down, which is what this button does. And it's going to show the body of the cat. Okay. We can also upscale. We can also zoom in and out. We can do a whole bunch of stuff, right? So here's, we're rolling our thing. Now you might notice that I also have something on here called Trace Journey. Okay. This is just an amazing tool which allows you to vectorize, upscale. I can remove the background. I can do a bunch of stuff with this. This is a separate thing from MidJourney. This is like a plugin, if you will, right? So I can click vectorize here and I can download a vector image of this cat.
Nice.
I don't have to take this into Illustrator and live trace it or anything. So it's working, right? Now, this is a watercolor image, so it's going to change it a little bit. If this was like a high res, high contrast logo thing, it's like the perfect thing. Okay. It works really great. So here it is. It downloads it as an SVG file, and I'll just throw that into my folder where I keep stuff. Now here's our Siamese cat. Right. This one looks like a 1970s J.C. Penney portrait.
Yeah.
Now you notice, we haven't changed anything. There's a lot of fun things we can do. We're just trying to make an image, right? And so from an image creation standpoint, these are pretty nice, right? But maybe you don't want this color cat. Maybe you want a green background. Maybe, there's a lot of things in here, right, that you're not getting. And because MidJourney gives you whatever MidJourney gives you, right? And that can be a really frustrating thing if you're not getting what you want. Like, for example, where do these candles come from? Okay. We didn't say candles, but here's the thing. We asked MidJourney to give us the body of the cat.
There's something going on in that one too, in 4. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
the cat has a harness or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. You notice that the top part of all 4 of these are exactly the same. What it's done is it's rendered what it thinks it might be at the bottom.
This was the pan down. Yeah.
This is the pan down. So to me, number 3, this one is the best.
Yeah, because number 1, I think he lost his legs.
Yeah. So let's upscale number 3, right? Then I'll show you another cool thing you can do, right?
All right.
It takes a second here.
Last thing, and then because I want to make sure we show people your MidJourney experience website too again.
And so now, okay, I can make this, because it's a rectangle, if I wanted to, I can make it square. which is kind of a cool thing. Now it's gonna say, okay, here's what's on the sides of the cat, right? And what's interesting is, will it be just the background, or is it going to add a flower? Who knows? I mean, so, you know, and here we go. Now, while we're waiting, right? So if you're using, let's get out of this. If you're using MidJourney, right? If you refresh, this is the new MidJourney page, you can see that all of the cats that we've done are now on our thing, right? And what I really like about this is I can do search, right? And I can type in cat, and then all of the cats that I've ever created are gonna show up, right? And I think I use catalog in that one, right? This is a cat tractor, right? Here are a bunch of cats, right? So this is a cathedral, right? So I did a whole bunch of little cat icons. I was thinking about, hey, can we create stickers? That was the idea here. I was making, like, if you were like doing a sticker set for little kids, right? And how would you create a whole bunch of cats, right? And so a lot of times when I'm experimenting, I'm playing around with ideas of, you know, whatever, right? So here's fat cat, you know, but look at the, so I'm using some, you know, cool colors, blue and green, isolated lime green, flat color background. That's how I got that, right? Just playing around, right? And so let's go back to MidJourney real quick, right? Here's our final image with we made our cat square, right? And they're all the same because it's just interpreted, right? So we can upscale one, doesn't matter which one. And then here's our final image, right? And let's say you wanted to, let's say you're I don't know, a cat vet, right? You could use this in some social media, right? Instead of this top hat, it could be a Santa Claus hat. Okay. I mean, there's all types of things we could be doing here with this. Yep. And so if we wanted to download it, like we could upscale, right? Here, this gives you a high res version. I do two things. I also have an app called Gigapixel. If you're a professional designer, you really should be using Gigapixel. It uses AI for a low res image to kind of add in the missing pixels and stuff for like a JPEG or something. And it really blows your image up to something really nice. And you can resample it like a 300 DPI file, like 15 or 20 inches square or something. It's great. I can also upscale it here through Trace Journey. And this I can do 2 times or 4 times. When you use MidJourney for that, it's really slow. Okay. I like using Trace Journey for it because it's so much faster. And I don't know about you guys, but I got things to do, right? So I'm all about speed. So and that's how fast it is. And then now I can download, I can download something that is going to be usable for print.
All right. Okay? So let's show them MidJourney experience, just so they know.
MidJourney, yeah. So if we go to my website, here's my website, right? MidJourneyExperience.com. And I've got a couple images that I'm sharing here, and there's a lot of questions and whatever. And all you got to do is just hit start your experience, and then you can sign up. You can get a free 1 edition of the newsletter to sample it, to see what it's all about. The first edition is basically how to get started with MidJourney and the basic terminology and whatnot, right? Or you can just sign up, subscribe now, and it starts, and it's $12 a month. I publish every week. Or if you want to save some money, it's $100 a year. So
great.
That's pretty much it, right? And you can see in the the background here, my banner, you can see these are all things I've created, obviously, with MidJourney, right? And lots of fun. So,
All right.
what questions do you guys have?
So yeah, I want to kind of just circle back real quick so we can wrap up. Again, I think that, one of the things, again, I'm the more technical, less artistic of the three of us. And I love watching you do it because what I started out by saying is the vocabulary is so obvious, the understanding of those words. And I'm sure some of them you've learned along your journey, but
Yes,
many of them you probably knew going in. And so, that to me is the argument for not trying to do this on your own. I mean, obviously Shelby and I are big on education and training, and looking through just the first the first newsletter, and there's a lot in there just for a guy like me who's new. There was a lot in there. And so I recommend something like that. If you don't want to do Marshall's newsletter, I'm sure there's other ones out there, but I would try and find a tool that will help you jumpstart your vocabulary for doing something like MidJourney. There are other tools out there too. I think everyone pretty much agrees this is the best one, the best AI design.
Well, I play with all of them. Okay. And, DALL-E 3, of course, is connected to ChatGPT, and you can actually put word prompts in there to actually make words. MidJourney will have that one day, right? But let me tell you, the images that you get from MidJourney to me are 2 or 3 levels above what you can get with DALL-E 3.
Yeah.
And you just get better images. And if we're image professionals, that's what matters. We can add type somewhere else. In fact, I'm such a perfectionist, right? I don't want some AI to kern my letters. I want to do it myself, right? I like things how I like them. I just need the background image. I just need the texture. And because we can, so like stock photography is dead. What you knew as stock photography doesn't exist now, because in a minute I can create the image that's perfect for my use.
Absolutely.
Right? I can create a wood panel. I can create a thing. I can create people walking down the street in New York in the morning. I can create that in 2 seconds. I don't need that to find somebody else's creation of that. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to be using this for, right?
Well, and here's where I find it fun. Let me see if I can do this without making a mess of everything.
Marshall, while he's doing that, I had a quick question.
Yes.
When someone, I've gone through your introductory newsletter, as we said, and that was very much of, here's how you get started, if you don't know anything about it, which was great for me. If you subscribe now, do we get older newsletters that you've already written, or do we kind of jump in as a new subscriber? We get your most recent.
That's a great question.
Is it still a how-to, or what is it?
So that's multiple questions embedded in one, but let's start off with what you get. So when you subscribe, okay, you start off with edition number 1, and the next one you get is edition number 2. Okay. And so on and so forth. Okay. When I started the newsletter, I was just doing it, on my own kind of a thing. I'm a big subscriber to who, not how, right? I have somebody helping me with the newsletter that's an expert on ConvertKit, which is the app that I'm using. And so what we have now is when people subscribe, when I started the thing, the editions came out every Monday morning, right? Now, when you subscribe, you get everything on whatever day of the week that you sign up for. So if you do it today, it's Monday, but if you do it on a Wednesday, you'll get your editions every Wednesday, right? And it's just a sequence that I've built with the newsletter. So you're going to be getting each one in order. Okay. Now, what's in the newsletters is I try to put things in that I think people might be interested in. Also, I have people asking me questions. And so I'll take that and I'll put that into the newsletter if they say it's okay. I also have people who are sharing their story about how they created whatever they're doing. right? And so it's the idea here there is that it's for design professionals, right? It's so we can get the images that we want out of it. How do I think? Like these are very, Jim's showing here these Green Bay Packer things, right? So is this okay or not? I mean, it looks okay, but how could we get that better, right?
Well, yeah,
And
the very first one, look at the cup. It's kind of just
yeah. So MidJourney, like, Green Bay Packer. Well, what is that? Right. And so MidJourney doesn't understand what a Green Bay Packer is, right? So it's finding all these images of Green Bay Packer, right? And what is drinking coffee? What does that mean? Right? It doesn't understand this stuff. So, you have to kind of play around with things. Like, so instead of, Green Bay Packer football player holding a cup of coffee, right? So the more specific you are, now I don't even know if that would work, but the more specific you are, the better results you may get. Right now,
and if you learn how to spell things, it helps. Like, for instance, Jim has color green and good, and I'm pretty sure he meant green and gold. That would be helpful.
Yeah, right. And
that's a typo, not a spelling problem.
Well,
so here's the thing: is you just don't know, right? You got to like play around with it.
Yeah, here's how it started.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's what's that guy?
But it was fun. I mean,
drinking.
What was fun about this is what I like about it is, again, with relatively limited artistic skills, which Shelby can attest to, I was able to come up with these last night after the Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And I was just thinking, what would it look like for all us Green Bay Packer fans tomorrow morning? This is what we're going to feel like when we're drinking our coffee, right?
Yeah, right.
And that's,
he looks pretty depressed.
Yeah.
It was a hard game. They were pretty beat up.
Yeah. So here's some ideas. If you've got an image, Jim, that you kind of like go back to the first one, right? If you have an image that you kind of like, but the guy's not really holding the coffee, but you like everything else, re-roll that about 10 times.
Right. No,
okay. And what'll happen is you'll get one where they actually is holding the coffee, and then upscale that, and then re-roll it. And then, so usually the end result, like, you're not going to step up to the plate and hit a home run on the first pitch. Okay. You have to upscale it. You got to re-roll it. Maybe you use remix, which is you can add a word into your prompt as you're upscaling it and re-rolling it. So there's some techniques that you can do to get to the better result. Okay. Also, for me, as we're designers, right? If that image where he was holding the coffee, but the Packer logo wasn't right on the helmet, in 35 seconds in Photoshop, you can fix that. Okay. So don't try to get the perfect image out of MidJourney when you know how to correct it somewhere else. Like since we're talking football, okay, what MidJourney is you receiving the opening kickoff on the football game. Okay, you caught the ball in your end zone, and now we're running it all the way down to the 7-yard line. In a football game, that would be an amazing play, right? But we didn't score. We still have to do a couple things to punch it in to score the points. Okay, that's what MidJourney is. It's going to allow you to go from your end zone all the way to the 7-yard line. And maybe you run 2 or 3 plays and you're scoring, okay? Instead of starting way back, on the 20-yard line and building all this stuff from scratch the old way, okay? And so if you think about it, especially if we're professional image folks, right? If we come at it with that mindset that we're not trying to get perfection, we're trying to get, I can use this and then I can play with it. Right? Like, for example, that cat with the hat, right? If we wanted that cat to have yellow eyes, right, we can bring that into Photoshop in 2 seconds, select those things and type in yellow eyes, and it changes the cats to have yellow eyes. Why worry about that with the MidJourney part?
That's cool. Yeah. All right. So I think we're going to get to that point where we're going to wrap it up. Shelby, was that you sharing your screen, Shelby? Did you want to?
Yeah, it was an accident, but I could show it.
Oh,
I was actually, I wanted to show because let me see if I can try one more time. Did that work?
yeah. I was
Yeah.
seeing it. I was seeing Discord.
Can you see that?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Oh, wow.
So
Hey, another Rush fan.
see,
Oh my God.
exactly. So
Woo-hoo.
while you were talking, you said you put in lyrics. So do you know what song this is?
Yeah, Limelight. Of course.
Limelight, right?
Yeah, from
So
Moving
I just
Pictures,
took a
the
verse
best
of
album of all
Limelight,
time.
and Neil Peart, very easily probably the best drummer ever.
Yeah.
Was, rest in peace, Neil. But he also wrote all the lyrics for Rush. I was born
Yes.
in completely the wrong decade, by the way. But so I took just a verse of Living in the Limelight, Living in the
Yeah.
Limelight, Universal Dream, which, is the chorus, I guess, if there is a chorus with Rush songs. And this is what MidJourney gave me, which, for as complicated as the Rush's lyrics are, this is about what I would expect.
Yeah.
We'll scroll up
Very
though.
fantastical.
What did you upscale from?
There was a whole bunch of, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's what
played
I'm kind of
around.
curious.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, okay. So you did exactly what we talked
Oh,
about.
I like the
yes,
girl with
I
the
was
butterflies.
kind of doing this, as I came up with this frog at first, which I almost chose.
This is cool. See, this is what I wanted to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
So what I did is I slowly added in a line of the
Yeah.
verse: living in the limelight, living in the
Yeah.
limelight, the universal dream.
Well, that's
For
why
those who
you're
wish
getting
to
everything
see.
green.
Right. Those who wish to be must put up with the alienation. So we
Yeah.
end up with alienation. I ended up with the guy in the chair. And so I kept getting, when I took him at the end, when I got to the end of the verse, I liked the guy in the chair the best. And so I just started flipping that
Right.
around.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Right. Yeah. So this is, by the way, this technique is called laddering. Okay. Where you get an image and then you use remix and you keep adding things to it to get to the final thing. Right.
Right.
It's a common thing. In fact, I'll be doing a whole article on that, I think, in the next issue. So,
Awesome.
yeah, and I did Red Barchetta is what I chose.
Oh, okay. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
All right.
and
So this is probably one of our longest episodes in a while. That's what happens when we have a guest. They go
We're
on.
getting ready. Our next episode is our last one of this season. So we're getting ready to wrap up for the year.
Yeah, we're gonna finally call it the end of season 1
Yep.
of the Jim and Shelby show. And many of you have been with us since we did the Die subcast, which ran a while. I don't remember how many episodes of that we did, but
80 something.
yeah. And so we're calling this the end of season 1 of the Jim and Shelby show, and there will be a season 2, and we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks when we do our season 1 wrap up. But yeah, Marshall, thank you so much for being a guest. Is there anything else you want to add, or?
Well, I would encourage everybody, whether you subscribe to my newsletter or not, but to try out MidJourney, to push the limits, find these things. I'm a big believer in AI, ChatGPT, MidJourney, all of these are the tools that if you're not proficient in it, you're going to be left in the dust. So don't be afraid of it. If it scares you, it's meant for you.
I love that.
That's good advice for a lot of things.
If it scares you, it's meant for you. That's excellent. Yep. All right. So that's it. We appreciate you being a guest.
Thank you, Marshall.
That everyone gives MidJourney a try. And I don't think we have any calendar things to talk about. We're at the end of the year here, but in that next episode, we'll give you guys some idea where we're going to be early next year. We are going to be someplace that Marshall is at the Impression Show in Long Beach. I will give that one away in mid-January. We're all going to be there. All 3 of us will be there on Friday, I think the 19th. And yeah, so that'll be the first place to see Shelby and I in person, and Marshall as well. But
yeah, I'm teaching a class on guess what?
Are you doing a MidJourney class there?
I am. You should take it.
Oh, no way. Awesome.
We may have to sign up and come attend. So. All right. Thanks, everyone, and see you again.
Thank you.